Hey, Uza.
Hey, Ricki.
It's time for Sambai Speaks.
It is. We're on episode 12, so we're at our year.
Wow, episode 12. We've been doing this for a year. Isn't
Incredible.
that so cool?
Can't believe it. A year's
I
gone by.
know. I know. Sambai is happening, and we're in year 2 of our research. And we just had the most incredible summit. And how many people were there? About 80 people from all over our sites, all over the world, all of our sites. All of our work packages were represented. And we all sort of came to Baltimore, sort of your hometown, close to my hometown. It was great to have them here in the US. And it was just a great collaboration, coalition, and coming together of all these brilliant minds that
Yeah.
are working on all pieces of our research. And it's got to be the first time we've come together since a year ago when we were just starting out, and now everybody has done stuff, has results to share and stuff to share. Even we did. What a concept. And it was just great, 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 great.
Yeah. It was truly a meeting of the minds and the hearts.
Yeah,
I think we come in and we help ground all of these amazing, brilliant researchers and scientists in the why, the full picture of the patient, because there is no science without these patients, and the patients
right,
are also people with lives.
right,
Um, and this is impacting so many lives.
right. And it's so great to remind them, the stuff that we take for granted that patients deal with, they don't think about it. They think about the test tube and the cells and the what do you call those that machine that breaks down all the cells into all the little pieces that they're looking at. But it was also fascinating looking at what they are doing with a cell. They take this little piece of blood from somebody and breaks it down to like thousands or millions of particles. They're looking at the environmental impact. They're looking at the genetic impact. They're looking at the genomics, which is kind of the biology of a cell. They're looking at all these little pieces that could influence cancer. And then they're not thinking about that one little cell is a lot of cells in our bodies, and we're people that walk around and have babies and mamas and lives, right? So
Yeah.
it's so cool to make the connection. Really cool.
Absolutely. I think Dr. Davis is such a
Um,
brilliant force
yeah,
to be reckoned with, truly. And to know her is to love her. And we're just so grateful to be a part of this project.
yeah, so grateful, so grateful. It's such something that we've never really done before, and it's really just all the stuff we normally do.
Yeah.
I think our biggest contribution so far has been these focus groups, and I think we're going to talk more and more about that in the coming episodes. But we did how many people? Like 100. We interviewed 100 people, right, across US, UK, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah. And more to come. We still
more
have
to come?
South Africa to do, and we're going to gather some pancreatic warriors as well,
Yeah,
caregivers. So really excited to have more conversations. But
yeah.
we've already touched 100 lives.
100 lives already. And it's interesting because, even though we feel like we know a lot about patients, when you hear them talk about their cancer, every story is different and everybody has a different experience with this disease, but they're all trying to live their best life, and we focus so much on boobs. Boobs are our life. Where are my boobs? Where are my boobs every day, right? But to talk to these men about pancreatic, and we've spent so much time with Dr. Keith and his work, but just to see it live and hear these men talk, and I think what you're going to hear today is
Yeah.
as we play this video is Jeff. Jeff, he was just 45, prostate cancer, and lost all of his manhood in a heartbeat, right? And it's very similar to what we hear from women, but just to hear it across the globe, that this is
Yeah.
happening all around the world, that this is not just something you see every day, that people are dealing with it everywhere.
Yeah, and one of our focus group participants said that when we show,
Yeah,
you'll see our little mock-up of our website that we're building. When we showed the map visual, that's exactly
yeah,
what when Kenya said, like, wow, cancer is really everywhere.
it's really everywhere. It's everywhere, and we have to solve for it. And I think if anyone can solve for it, this team can. This
Yeah,
team can, and we have a lot more work to do. I mean, the next 4 years, but I think the other thing we learned this week was that Cancer Research of the UK is going to become our sole funder, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. We're so grateful to them to support our work and want to give them all the kudos, all the credit, because without them, anything could have happened in this crazy government climate that we're living with. So, and you know, Cancer Research of the UK is not a government operation. It's people who leave money to cancer. It's people who leave their homes or trusts or whatever, that long money that's only in Europe, right? To people, to this science. And so we're so grateful to have this blessing from them and to be able to do this work. And for them to entrust Melissa do this amazing work. I mean, she's just a brainiac, brilliant, loving, heart-filled, scientist, but then to adopt us into the story and make us part of it. So
yeah, it's incredible research that's going to go way beyond these 5 years that we have. We're connecting with all of these amazing advocacy leaders, doing what we do in our community here. And now we're just building a bigger family, and it's fun.
Yep. I love our family. I love our new map. Who's it that people will see today? We have to like put that on Instagram. But we now have like our superheroes everywhere. We got superheroes everywhere. And so we're going to keep growing them, keep growing them and make them part of Belong. And because we all belong together.
We all belong together.
We all belong together. Yeah.
I love that. We got to get a shirt for that.
I know, we all belong together. I know. And the good news too, we love our tagline, Uza's brilliance, we are the science we have been waiting for. And, we have to do it. We have to get it. We have to make it happen. And we are the science we are waiting for.
We are.
Yeah.
We hope that you enjoy our presentation. Next month, we are going to be talking with Dr. Beatrice in Ghana.
We're going to Ghana. We're going
to Ghana for her amazing annual breast cancer walk. She's expecting at least 30,000 people.
Isn't that crazy?
So we'll be recapping that with her. And we are just so, so blessed all the time.
Yeah, we'll probably go live from the walk. As long as we can get an internet connection, we'll go live from the walk on our Touch website. So, and maybe on video, but definitely on Touch, our Touch Facebook page. So look out for that. We'll let you know what's coming. And now we're going to just show you the presentation that we put together and Uza worked so hard on, being a control freak that she is, for the summit. So excited for everybody to hear what we talked about and share, some of the knowledge.
Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in to Sambai Speaks, episode 12.
Episode 12, and we'll see you next month.
See you next month.
Hope you enjoy. A year ago. Not all of it, but it's coming. It's pretty amazing. Is there a clicker or just hit here? So just our aims. Well, we start with our aims, and you guys know these, but basically we're just trying to put a hug around the science and bring it into words people can spell from a voice of trust, our voices of trust. This is our superhero team, and we have Uza and Laura and Iffy in the room. You guys stand up. So, where's Laura? Oh, there she is. Yeah. So, we meet every Thursday and talk about all of this stuff. And I think that when you guys were talking about yesterday, how everybody's sort of in a silo. So we have our own silo, but every Thursday we talk about what's going on in all the work packages. I think probably we're the only group that does that because everybody sort of gives an update on what's going on in all the other work packages. So we kind of stay abreast of keeping everything together. I think that's probably what's unique about us. Many things. And then we have more superheroes. As we've built our sort of American group to Africa and the UK. And we're so happy to have all these friends now in our family to work with us and represent the patient. And they're amazing. So we did focus groups. We did 4 days of groups, 5 countries, 12 groups, and over 100 people. We did patients and caregivers, and we did all the cancers except for pancreatic. That one's still to come, and we're just trying to get us recorded because we want to use this as a episode of Sambai Speaks at some point. But do you want to take over and talk about this video?
Sure, they don't see it yet.
I know our friend Jeff.
Okay, let me figure out the technology here. Hi, everyone. All right, so should be the next video.
Yeah, Jeff is our new friend that we met, and he runs a prostate organization in the UK. He had prostate at 45 and has an amazing story, but this is one of the things he told us.
And I think that this video really drives home the importance of us being a part of this research, not only because of the recruitment piece, but before we recruit, there's a lot of patients that have said in the focus groups, we didn't even know what cancer was until we were diagnosed. Or cancer in our village is, you're shunned for it because maybe you think by contact with someone else in the village you can get cancer. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen before we can even ask people to be involved in this research. So I think he really drives this point home about how we need to arm all of our patients, community members, to be more informed about their health, about the factors in their environment, their medical family history. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk now and stop talking.
I went for a test the other day, and a doctor said to me, is it true that black men or black people don't feel pain as much as us white men or white people? This is the 20th century, and I was like, excuse me?
Right.
And he was literally being honest in that question he asked me. So I said to him, allow me to pinch you. You have to really hard. And I would tell me how that felt. And he looked at me and said, well, so can I pinch you back? I said, no, there's no point in trying to pinch me because I'm not going to feel it, remember? He just looked at me and went, so that's not true then, it's a myth. And this is someone who's been educated in the medical field. And it's ignorance is not bliss. And so look, we as black men, I've come to find out, especially when you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, you have to be so armed with knowledge, so armed with information. You have to get yourself prepared so when you step into an oncologist's office, you know what questions to ask. You know what to expect. Yeah, because sometimes you feel like you're just on a production line. Yeah, when my prostate was removed, that was it. Next, I was just put out there to find out how do I navigate to my next journey. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. And I think that we as a community need to get together and be stronger. And again, I say we need to educate our younger, future generation.
So you saw in our little clip yesterday, cancer is a family affair. We say that all the time at our Work in Touch. And he also drove that point home. This research is a research of ancestry. It's a research of family. It's a family affair, like he said here. So we're educating the younger populations because they are the present, they are the future. So how can we inform them better? How can we arm them better and their families?
He also said that no one prepared him for his losing his erection and his incontinence. And he walked out of his house. He tells the story how he walked out of his house one day and just like peed all over himself in the street and had no idea why that was happening. 45.
A lot of men said that.
A lot of men said that to us.
So our focus groups really to give us insight on the patient experience in the different areas, but also then to build a home, hopefully, for those patients with our website that we had our powwow with Work Package 1 and 4 about yesterday. It brought up so many thoughts, so many ideas for Ricki and I, but we hope that it's a home for all. And so one of our focus groups, someone said it's a people-centered science, and we love that. So we want to stand by that. So We hope that the site will act as a trusted resource, recruitment platform, and possibly registry, or links you to a registry or repository.
Yeah, actually, we didn't really state the purpose of the focus groups. They were really to do a couple of things. One of them was to validate some of the survey questions and identify if there were any things that we were going to ask that could be a problem. And there really weren't, except for how much money do I make? That was the one that became a contentious subject. But also to look at our initial marketing materials and kind of an overview of our website that we were trying to build to get feedback on it. So to build this house. So yeah. I told Uza this kind of looks like a nativity scene, and that's okay.
Oh, they're giving a pause. The team says
They can't hear us.
The
You
video.
gotta use the other mic.
Oh,
The video.
Oh, they couldn't hear you.
okay. Well, we can send it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're running out of time, right? We can send the video to everybody. We can send the whole deck, you know.
So I believe this slide is actually unfortunately cut. The last column was some of the feedback about Work Package 1 survey. But I can pull it up here. Ricki,
Yeah, you can, you guys can kind of read this. We're not gonna read every word, but we did hear about some environmental concerns, mining areas in Ghana, air pollution and water quality in Nigeria. Food was a big topic. What are we eating? Is it safe? You know, the food that we don't grow ourselves, that was an issue. In Kenya, we talked a lot about food quality, what kinds of food people are getting. And then, you know, again, water quality and chemical waste in the UK. So I think pretty typical things, and I think we've addressed all of those things today. Everybody, there was a big discussion over using the word disparities versus inequalities. And so that was more of, inequalities was more of a global word, we think, than the word disparities, so we'll probably address that there. I think that, you know, we just heard a lot about not knowing what cancer is. What is cancer? And I think people hear the word cancer, they think instant death or being shunned from your community. So there's a lot of basic education that needs to be done about what cancer is. We had comments on what our visuals look like, and we're going to show it to you in a minute so you can sort of see what they're responding to. But we talked a lot about the language that we use and the language that will be necessary.
On the opposite of the death sentence thing you just mentioned, one of our comments after showing our website, snapshot that we're going to share, one of the participants said basically it instilled hope in them and that it's not a death sentence. The map visual on the website also really drove home the impact of cancer globally. They said, literally, he said, cancer affects so many people, it's everywhere.
Which was a surprise to some.
Yeah.
They didn't have the knowledge of it, you know, was that only in my country? Did it only happen to me?
And then as far as the Work Package 1 survey, the majority was comfortable with answering most of the questions. Some provided feedback at the question about income, that it should be left optional to answer.
Yeah, I don't have to answer or maybe given a range, but they were really sensitive about that, about talking about money.
And then the beauty product question was extremely important, obviously. And it was the Kenya group that mentioned we might have to tweak how we ask that question, but they agreed that it was very important to ask. Just trying to see if there's anything else here. The Ghana group thought it was important to make sure we're including questions about the cultural tribe that you belong to. And these are some additional takeaways from the focus groups. There was so much feedback. I'm still transcribing and trying to summarize everything even now.
I think let's read some of the quotes. We think, you know, our lived experiences to protect our future generation. They loved the whole concept of creating a legacy. That was just a resounding kind of joyful thing. We cannot wait to see the outcome of the research. So I think this is such a new concept to them to even have anything of this sort. To understand cancer was really encouraging to see hope there. And we love it's a people-centered science. They had never thought about science for people. science is like a molecule in a tube, right? But they felt that we were really addressing people. What a concept, right?
And to note the point in the Ghana bubble, people's willingness to participate and their excitement about participating. I mean, one of our participants, Dr. Beatrice's group, traveled 14 hours, we mentioned that yesterday, and she was happy to. She was happy to travel that 14 hours to be a part of the conversation, but also some of them need to travel to receive treatment by Dr. Beatrice.
Yeah, they were all excited to be a part of it. We actually had given everybody a challenge, our advocacy partners, to bring 8 people, and I think our smallest group was 12, maybe. I mean, some of them, we had one group of probably 20. So people, you know, did not want to say no to anyone. And we paid all of them to participate, so.
And I built out a list so that everyone that wasn't able to participate in this first round, there will be multiple conversations and other ways for them to engage in this research. So I'm keeping a list of all that contact information.
Yeah.
And now we'll get into our site. Maybe.
Is that video? Yeah. You want to play the arrow? It's a video.
That's part of the-
Oh, that's part of the crowd, yeah. Can you move it? But you can see basically it's a globe.
Is it a video? Yeah. The other one played when I just hit next. This one's a bit different.
But you can see it starts with a globe. And then you'll be able to click on your country and they'll take you to the sites in your area. But we love our line that Uza came up with, we're the science we've been waiting for.
There you go. So Dr. Davis actually did a great job of laying out what Sambai is and what it means to the patient population in our Ghana group. She joined that conversation. So we might put that video at the top there in that little space.
Or we have a video from Sambai Speaks that we used after the groups of you, so.
Yeah, to kind of ground the conversation, and that was really helpful. And then our series that Ricki and I host, Sambai Speaks, which has really been, we'll see in a little bit, some of the feedback from that. But we'll add a video gallery here as well because it's been a great resource to the community. And it'll be a place where they can find out about the study. You'll see next. I don't know if you want to say anything.
No, this is all work in progress. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Our timing is to launch. I think our timing we'll show you the end of October. I think we have a little more work to do based on all the connections, but graphically, this is the direction that's come out. It's funny because the breast cancer women wanted to have, can you make everything pink? The prostate, no, can you make everything blue? So the colors were definitely meaningful to people, so we'll play around with the colors a little bit and outline the countries so they can clearly see where they are.
So we adjusted that site, the mock-up already based on some of the feedback that we received. There's still more to do. Ricki and I are gonna work on the copy as well. But even in these conversations, these past 2 days, we know that some of the language does have to be tailored a bit more. And here's Sambai Speaks, so some of the comments that we received. You can see, how does one become a participant in this study? I love the thank you for all that you've done to benefit the Black community.
But people really like our show, and the one thing that we did, we had an episode of the show air the day after the 4 days, kind of 3 of the days of research, and we could see that our African numbers went up because now more people are watching from the continent, so that's good.
And there's a comment actually from a Nigerian viewer. I heard about the Sambai project, started looking for information about it and stumbled upon this. I was really happy to see that. I mean, we're almost at our year anniversary actually. We started right around now, so.
Yeah, we've done it for a year. Pretty cool.
And this was the timeline that Ricki mentioned, so we've realized all of the work that we need more time. We need more time.
Yeah, so we'll push out the launch, but I think that maybe the launch of all the materials will now be our our virtual summit, a short virtual summit and global summit of advocates. So that'll be a prelude to a bigger one. Yeah, and then the last slide here on this side, we just kind of stuck this in there from yesterday. So this is a touch slide that we put together. So we have basically built this database of doctors and PIs in the US to reach out for clinical trials. And in each doctor's city, we have a list of advocates organizations in those cities. And then we actually have a list of churches, Black churches in those cities. So when we work with pharma to recruit for clinical trials, we say, here are the doctors you should use, and here's who we're going to source patients from. And so we've built a community around that. So I think we can do something similar for Sambai, but we sort of stuck that in last night as an example of what we're doing in the US to recruit patients for trials. So we do this for AstraZeneca, for Novartis, for Genentech, and for BioNTech. And we basically help them recruit by using, we have I think 82 doctors now on the list, PIs, across the country. Where I send them a love note every month about something about clinical trials in Black people. And then we have this community network that we can reach out to and say, we know there's a trial going on over here. Let's, here's the information, here's how you recruit, get involved. So just an example, we could probably build this for Sambai as well as we think about all the sites.
And for the patients to know that they have an advocacy connection to support them and to back what they're doing is scary, it's new, but having that advocacy partner is going to make all the difference. So we, as Ricki said this morning in the conversation, when we made our beautiful diagram here, all of our thoughts, we reached out to some of our African partners and said, how often do you come in contact with newly diagnosed patients? And they feel very confident in our ability to kind of use that as like a funnel to bring them
Because
back
patients
to
are
us.
calling them like they're calling us. So.
You can update Hope Rugo's at City of Hope now. So
Is okay. She's at the same time. No, we love Dr.
we
Brugo.
recruited her.
Oh, really? Awesome. We love her. We love her so much. She's awesome, right?
She is.
Yeah. I'll change that, right? But you're on there.
And some additional, in the future, we're working on, so currently working with our South African advocacy partner to get that book focus groups going, eventually Zambia and maybe Ethiopia. Bringing our advocacy partners into our Sambai Speaks series to then also showcase the work that they've been doing in their communities and then to continue to bring the patients to us. In-person engagement, so we have a trip to Ghana with Dr. Beatrice coming up in a couple of weeks. We're excited. We mentioned yesterday, has a walk and she's expecting 30,000 or more.
30,000 people. We're so excited.
And in November, we're going to Kenya, so we're going to meet with Benda and connect with other advocacy groups, hopefully there, engage with patients, and they were excited to hear that we were coming in the focus groups. And then any opportunity that we have as Touch here in the States to disseminate and test any materials that we come up with, and then to also hopefully bring some of them to Africa.
That's all I think we got, right? We have much video of patients that at some point we'll build a repository because I know you're running late.
So I really love summing up with Work Package 5 because again that brings